Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Golden Astrologer Podcast. This is Deb McBride, and today is Sunday, August 10th in the year 2025, and I am recording this from beautiful, fabulous, lovely Escazú, Costa Rica, and it has been quite a time. But do I say that every week? Do I sound like a broken record? Do I sound like someone who's repeating herself? I think things really sped up quite a bit as a result of the full moon and all of this Mars meeting up with Saturn and then Neptune energy, and then the station of Mercury, which is happening as we speak. So let's start with Mercury, shall we? Mercury is going direct in the middle of the night in this region of the world tonight. This will be 3:30 a.m. Eastern Time, which is 1:30 a.m. my time. And that's it. In this region of the world, we will wake up tomorrow morning and Mercury will be direct. And if you're in Europe, Mercury will go direct tomorrow morning for you. And if you're in Australia, it'll already be sometime in the day that it will go direct for you. So you'll probably have close to like a whole other day of Mercury retrograde. But, you know, that we got that on the other end. So when it initially went retrograde. So this is important. Mercury is going direct at 4 degrees of Leo. It's been at 4 degrees of Leo for the last few days. This whole Lion's Gate portal that I talked about last week and that continued into this week and was like peaking on Friday. I still felt it yesterday. I still feel it today. This is a lot of energy, and this is very powerful. And I think it's significant that Mercury is going direct in Leo, and it's been retrograde in Leo all this time, and it's going direct not far from where Mars went retrograde last December. So it's a little further back. It's 4 degrees. Mars was 6 degrees. So don't be surprised if some of the information that you received back last December is now coming forward for you and maybe on a new level. Okay. So that's just something you want to look out for. But Mercury's going direct. And so you might not feel completely comfortable right now. And just because Mercury's going direct doesn't mean, woohoo, we're done. Yeah. Yes, on some level, it's going to feel like that. But remember, we're still in the energy of the full moon, which was in Aquarius opposite Leo, because the sun is in Leo. And all of this energy really does impress itself upon each other. So meaning they don't happen in a vacuum. And I've said this before. Mercury is not going direct all by itself. It's going direct as we have the full moon, as Mars is moving away from Saturn and Neptune, and right now is trining Pluto and giving us a good amount of powerful energy, trining Pluto. So there's some sort of acknowledgement of empowerment today. And then on the other side of this, after Mercury goes direct, much later in the day, and in fact, really 1:30 a.m. Eastern Time Tuesday morning, but it's 11:30 tomorrow night for me, is that Jupiter and Venus are going to conjunct. So that's very powerful, okay? So we have a lot of energy happening right now that we are sifting through, sorting through, getting connected to, and like owning power in a very profound way. What is it that you are seeking to accomplish right now, and what are you feeling right now? Feeling is big. Feeling is a big part of this because Jupiter and Venus are together in Cancer. And that's all about feelings and emotions. I mean, all of it is, you know. Leo is feelings too. It's your heart. It's love. It's falling in love with life. But what we want to pay attention to is this. All of this energy is sort of weaving in and out of each other and working together. And it's hard to distinguish when everything is happening like this. It's hard to distinguish what part of what has to do with your life and the events of your life. Which one is it? Is it Mercury stationing direct? Is it, the Mars opposite Neptune that's trining Pluto? Is it Jupiter and Venus? What is it? And where is it evolving in your life? So maybe you're having a great time with your family, or maybe you're having a wonderful time with your spouse or partner. Maybe you're falling in love, and that's all Venus, Jupiter. That's what it feel like. But maybe communication is really clear as you have a great time with your family and you are acknowledging one another and working together and connecting with each other. And that could be the Mercury retrograde along with the Venus, Jupiter. So it doesn't, like I said, happen in a vacuum. All of this is a big funnel of energy that we're navigating right now. And I think there were certain points of this that did not feel great. Different people felt different things at different times because we're all unique and we each have our own astrological chart. So if you are a Mars Saturn person, you were probably feeling this on Friday. If you're more of a Mars Neptune person, you were probably feeling this yesterday. If you're more of a Venus Jupiter person, if you have that in your chart, you're going to feel this now. So this is all part of the same story. And there's a lot of stories going on, and we all have a story about these last few days. So for me, I felt a lot of this last night. I felt yesterday afternoon into last night a lot of uncomfortable energy. Now, maybe that was Mars Neptune for me, but I know I did other things yesterday afternoon that were healing things, and they, according to my pendulum and my pendulum chart, that had more to do with my discomfort than the Mars Neptune. The Mars Neptune was part of it, but I got a whole dose of something else as a result of what I was doing. And so this is a lot to process right now, and it's a little complicated. So rather than trying to figure out what part of this is what aspect or how that is it for you, it's more about getting to the heart of the matter and what's in your heart and what do you feel. And the experience of Venus Jupiter is a big, beautiful, lovely experience. And it's a wonderful aspect. It's a great thing to see in the sky if you can. It is a great thing to experience in your life every day. It's a wonderful feeling of gratitude and love. And these are big emotions, and you can really start to feel into the bigness of this. Now, that being said, as we amplify energy and stories and things that are happening in our life, so Venus and Jupiter are together, and you can amplify the feeling of gratitude and love in your life right now. And what that looks like is, being grateful for something wonderful in your life. Maybe it's your partner, maybe it's your family, etc. Whatever it is. Maybe it's a big feeling of love towards something in your life and you're very happy about it. And as you amplify the feeling of love, you look at your baby, you look at your pet, you look at your partner, and you just sort of amplify those energies of love, and you look around your home and you're happy with it, because Venus, Jupiter is a lot about the home in Cancer. So you're just very grateful for your home. Maybe it's a new home. Maybe you've just decorated it. Maybe it's an old home with the same old furniture, but you love it so much and it makes you really happy. And that's amazing. And so when we look at this and start to feel the feelings that Jupiter and Venus are encouraging from us right now, the gratitude, the love, the freedom, and amplify that, because Jupiter is a big amplifier. Open up, and amplify till like your energy field is big and wide and huge. Now there's a caveat. When we start to do that, when we start to open and amplify like this and open your heart, there is a chance that you're going to slam into the walls around your own gratitude, freedom, love, etc. you're going to amplify, and then there is something else. And you can only go so far. So you can call it an obstacle, an emotional obstacle. Maybe it's shame, maybe it's fear. And I was doing this in a meditation the other day. I was starting to I felt myself really distracted, and I kept going through it, bringing myself back and bringing myself back. And then I just sort of let go of the distraction feeling and just said, okay, let me just sit with this and breathe into the meditation. And then I realized that the distractions were all taking me away from what I really wanted to be doing, the meditation, because of fear of the unknown, because these meditations are deep and they go out into the unknown and we go out into the quantum field. So what do I feel? I was like, oh, this is the whole distraction from this is keeping me from feeling that fear of the unknown. And this is what I'm talking about when we amplify something, when we amplify the gratitude, the love, especially the love right now. All of a sudden, you might hit a wall that feels familiar, that is fear, and you go to yourself, you say to yourself, wow, what is this? I was feeling so good. I was feeling great. What is this? Why am I feeling like this now? And that has a lot to do with your limitations, feelings around stuff like love and freedom and gratitude or whatever you were working on. And the thing that would be the best mode of action in that moment is to allow it. So I was feeling so great. I was feeling so good, Venus, Jupiter. And then I'm not supposed to be feeling like this during Venus, Jupiter. What is this? What is this anxiety? What is this feeling of discomfort and irritation and maybe a little anger and distraction? And what that is you've expanded, you've amplified your energy to come up against your own stuff. And that's okay. That's a good thing. We like that. And the reason we like that, not because it's fun and exciting, we like it because it means we're pushing past it and we're going into the next level. Now, if you were to stop and say, I have to fix this. I was feeling great, 20 minutes ago, an hour ago, I was feeling great. Why is it like this? And why do I feel so blue? What is this? You allow yourself to feel whatever it is. Okay. And that's where Jupiter and Venus really work for us. This is really pushing Jupiter past its limits, and that Jupiter has any limits. And this is why it's important to move beyond it and allow the feelings of whatever to come up: anger, shame, anxiety, discomfort, sadness. And if you're feeling that, allow it. Say you're feeling sad. I was feeling great. Why am I feeling? What happened? It meant you were amplifying and you are now at the sad level. So sit with the sadness, sit with it, and just allow it to be. And don't try to push it away. Don't try to do I'm going to put on some dancing music to get myself out of this mood. Not necessarily, okay? Put yourself in a position to understand and just allow it. Doesn't mean if you run up against the anger wall, you should go express it and scream at somebody. It means that you sit with it and allow whatever to come up. Maybe you want to journal about it. Maybe you just want to meditate and feel into it. If that is what you're feeling, allow it. And Jupiter and Venus can expand our consciousness and expand our limits beyond what we're normally comfortable with. And it doesn't mean it's all dandy and fabulous. We're not necessarily like that. We're not built like that. Jupiter and Venus, we think we're supposed to be feeling fantastic all the time, and it's all going to be good. Jupiter is a consciousness planet. It's about knowledge and awareness, and it does expand our consciousness, and it does raise our awareness, which means all the goop that's on the other side of how fabulous this is going to surface. And so we need to just process it. And then what will happen, if you just allow it, it will dissipate. It will dissipate. Normally, this is a normal reaction. It will dissipate. And then if you don't feel great still the next day, really work with the energy some more, okay? And sit with yourself and, where are you feeling it in your body? Where is it talking to you? What does it have to say? Go there. Because those types of energies, those discomfort energies, those unfamiliar, what is this kind of thing. Like the other day in my meditation, I just sat with the fear. I just went, once I named it, I was like, that's great. Okay, it's fear. It's fear of the unknown. And I'm pushing the limits of the unknown right now, of what I'm used to. So good. That means I'm reaching another level in my meditation. Great. And then it just dissipated. That's what I'm talking about. Unless, of course, I'm not talking about if you're having a full meltdown, in which case you want to go get some support. But I'm talking about the nature of expanding your energy and what that feels like. And what do you run into as a result? Notice, pay attention, feel it. It's really important because we limit ourselves if we don't allow that next layer to come, because there's more joy and gratitude and love and freedom beyond that. It's just that we have to move through that discomfort. So that's something good to practice during this Venus-Jupiter, expanding and amplifying your field, your energy, what the wonderful feelings are, and just keep amplifying them until you feel you are at some sort of wall, emotional wall, and then you just go, okay, what is it that I'm feeling? Maybe put your hands out and feel that wall, okay? And then work with what comes up. Now, the other thing that's happening tomorrow is Saturn in Aries is making a lovely aspect known as a sextile, a smooth aspect to Uranus in Gemini. And so they are talking to each other very nicely. Now, they are an interesting duo, and they were squaring each other a couple of years ago, and that always brings some sort of crossroads. But now they're talking to each other very nicely. And so Saturn being duty, discipline, responsibility, all those wonderful things, and hard work and stuff. And then Uranus, which is, I want some freedom. So what we usually conjure up during these more smooth aspects between those two planets is having met our responsibilities and then know the freedom and the taste of freedom that brings, the liberation that brings, because we've handled everything. And so we make enough space to feel free and make enough space to feel the work, and that our work is good and accomplished, and we're feeling very positive about it. So they're just in this balance. They're in this balance with one another, and that'll go on for a few days and stuff. So that's very interesting. And it's unusual. They don't do this very often at all. And so we like this. They'll probably do this again as Saturn's going to move backwards into Pisces by the time we get into September and all. And then Uranus is going to eventually go retrograde too in early September, and then we're going to go back into Taurus. So we're going to watch this energy over these next months as these two float back and forth between signs. Meantime, we're having some nice energy between Mars and Pluto, which is Mars in Libra and Pluto is in Aquarius. And this is all in a nice grand air trine with Uranus and Gemini. And Mars and Pluto are pretty exact today, and then they're not entirely exact with Uranus and Gemini, because Uranus is at 1 and Mars and Pluto are at 2. But I say this is a grand trine in air. And you know what I always say? If something's born today, such as a child or a business or something, your cat, that is the aspect. It's a grand air trine. What's a grand air trine? It's when three planets are making a triangle with each other, which is a smooth aspect, and they're 120 degrees apart from each other. So they are all in air signs. So Mars being in Libra, as I mentioned last week, Mars does not love Libra. Mars likes Aries, its opposite sign, and it rules Aries. So whenever it's in its the opposition to where it rules, it's always in a complicated place, and that goes for any planet. So Mars is the warrior, and he's in this Libra state, which is asking him to be polite, and Mars usually doesn't want to be polite. Mars wants to push on through. But these are the days when Mars finds it necessary to get the job done, to be polite, and to act proactive in working with each other, right? So Mars in Libra works pretty well when we get good trines from it with Uranus and Pluto. Now, two outer planets making this grand trine with Mars is very powerful. So if you have a child born now, if you have something that you're birthing now, maybe your business, you're going to do your business chart, this is very intellectual because Uranus is in Gemini, which is all about thinking in the mind and communication and a little bit of analysis. And then Pluto, as we know, has been in Aquarius for a while, and now it's back at 2 degrees because it had gone to 3 or so and then turned around retrograde. So we're looking at how we are expressing liberation and freedom, the Pluto in Aquarius. And again, Uranus is a planet of liberation. So the freedom of self-expression, the freedom of putting forth your big step forward, your confidence, your courage. And a lot of this, air signs need to speak up. They need to process their thoughts and their intellect and their verbal proficiency. And when we have a lot of air planets doing things like this, like planets and air signs, then the need to express oneself and learning to express one's truth is very important right now. So what I want to say about this, and this is a very powerful aspect, and this is a big configuration in the sky, because remember I said Saturn and Uranus are talking to each other very nicely, and Saturn and Neptune are conjunct, and Saturn and Neptune are making a nice relationship to Pluto. So what we've got here is a grand trine with this extra leg opposite one point of the grand trine, which is the Mars opposite the Saturn Neptune. So I would read this as this motivation by Mars to harmonize and work with its thoughts, ideas, and creativity. So for the Marsy energy, it's being opposed by this Saturn Neptune. I won't be silenced anymore. I need to communicate my truth. I know how to communicate my truth. I'm learning how to communicate my truth. And how this experience of, Pluto and Uranus are saying, yeah, go communicate your truth. Because Mars is the personal planet in all of this. Okay? So we're looking at this in a very personal outlet. Like Mars is like the one stepping forward and saying, I am going to express this for you guys. And this whole configuration with the outer planets and Saturn, Neptune has been happening for a little while. But now Mars, which is a personal planet, as I said, is involved in this and allowing us to step forward politely, because it's in Libra, and express itself in a whole new way. With taking that opposition from Saturn and Neptune and recognizing where it's been silenced, where the anger is festering, where the discomfort has been, and now stepping forward in a new light with the support of the other two outer planets and saying, hey, look, I know how to express myself creatively, politely, and lovingly so that I can get my message across. People hear me, they see me, and I make a difference. I make impact, because Mars loves to make impact. And I have something important and transformative to say. So this is a very powerful dynamic we have going on in the sky right now. And then, remember what I said, that Saturn, Neptune opposite Mars was all tangled up in the full moon, which happened yesterday morning. And so all of this, this is a really big, deep expression of self. Mercury is stopping in the sky getting ready to express itself in a different way because it is in an opposition to Pluto. So in the middle of all of this, Mercury's stopping opposite Pluto, and it's sextiling Mars. It's not an exact sextile just yet, meaning that they're going to sextile for real when Mercury moves forward, and that's going to be on Thursday at 10:05 p.m. Eastern Time. And that's going to be the same flowing nice aspect that Saturn and Uranus are having. This is one big dynamic of expression, of telling the truth, of speaking the truth, deep, profound truth in your field that needs to be spoken. Now, my advice is you can sit with yourself and be in a quiet space and ask yourself, what is the truth that I need to speak into the field right now? Because speaking into the field is legitimate. You don't have to get angry at someone in your life. You can sit in your room alone and speak it into the field. Let the field take the energy from you and put it there so that it's released from your body, from your physical body. And allow yourself to express what is important in this moment. What has been backed up and not told? What story needs a voice? This is so important right now. Mercury is stopping in the sky, like I said. It's not going all the way back to meet Pluto, but it's reverberating at, where it's been at this space for a few days, and it's really vibrating, and it's talking to Pluto anyway. It's not an exact opposition, which in some ways is probably good considering all this intense energy we've got going on. So there's this combination of energies right now between Mars, Saturn, Neptune, Pluto, Uranus, and Mercury. And they are all in the early degrees of their signs, and they are all working together. Mercury is making a wide trine to Saturn and Neptune. It's making a wide sextile to Uranus. This is all powerful. Powerful expression, powerful ideas, powerful creative ideas, and just this incredible passion that needs to be expressed right now. Now, you can be angry. You are allowed to be angry. But what you want to do with this energy is, like I said, speak it into the field. You can journal it, but sometimes putting it through your vocal cords and through your mouth and your lips and your tongue really brings it out of the body. And I feel like in this instance, speaking it, because Mercury's in Leo, and it's all about the roar of the lion, the speaking, the opening the mouth, the throat, and doing that. And Uranus is in Gemini, and that's Mercury's sign. So they're all working together right now. And this is such a profound moment. This is such a profound aspect. They're so involved with one another. The transformational aspects of the three outer planets, the deep liberation, the sense of freedom of Uranus, the profound power of Pluto, the intuitive alignment of Neptune, and the Saturn saying, you got to do this. This is important to confront whatever it is and work with it. And Mars, Mars saying, I've got to say this. It can't be held back any longer. So, I think this is so important for each of us. Where are you being held back by, rules or society in self-expression? Where has your self-expression been held back, silenced, ignored, not seen? Where is all of that for you? And how can you now bring it up and out of the body and into the space in front of you, the field in front of you? If you have to go to like an empty field and scream, great. That's it. Maybe that's what you need. But there's something very physical about this because it is Mars, and there are planets in Aries. And so there's something very physical about this, the Leo energy. that's asking us to get it out of the head and maybe move the brain out of the way, the mind really out of the way, and let the energies come forward. When I said to you, you reach that wall with the Venus Jupiter where your expansive energy of, really empowering that energy and really amplifying that energy. When I said that, there's going to be something maybe there on that wall that comes up that asks for its release and to be spoken into the field. Don't be afraid of it. Don't let Mars and Saturn say, "Oh, I can't say that." Say it in your room by yourself. Go in your bathroom and close the door, turn the shower on. Go into a field and scream, but do something to let this out. It's so vital in this moment, and this is enormous vitality energy. So I highly recommend to sit with yourself, figure out what it is that has been quieted, silenced, not heard, not wanted to be heard, and where your truth needs to be spoken. Maybe you do need to have a conversation with someone. Maybe you need to confront your family in some way, someone. Maybe you need to talk to your dead parents and say something to them. This is important. It's okay. You can speak in the field to them. So this is one of the most incredible, powerful aspects that I've seen in a long time, where all of these planets are talking to each other at the same time and they're begging for expression. And as Mercury goes direct and as we step forward, we are being told to set forth something into the field, something energetic, something verbal that is necessary for our expression and for the relief and the liberation of something that's been held back for maybe years. Okay? Get into it. Now, maybe you've got a new partner and you're like, well, they're not bothering me. Where is this coming from? It could be very old. So make sure don't shoot anybody, don't shoot any messengers, don't shoot the energy. Sit with it and find out what's the root of this and where it's coming from. If you want help with this, you can come to me and we'll do a session. We can do Reiki and work with this. We can do some really interesting astrology work around this. We could find out where this is in your astrological chart. I can help you with all of these things. So connect with me on my website, thegoldenastrologer.com, and book a session. You can just go to book online and connect with me there. If this is something that requires more attention and requires more valuable time spent on this, well, then by all means connect with me and do 3 months of expansion mentoring, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months. And you can work with me on this, and we can, this aspect is happening now, but it's a door that's opening to an expression of some truth or some creativity or some energy that really wants to. This isn't just where I'm going to say a sentence and it's over. This might be life-changing, what you express right now. So I encourage you to consider what's coming out and what's coming up and wants your expression right now. I thank you so much for listening. I'm available to you. Go to my website, thegoldenastrologer.com. Go to my Instagram page, The Golden Astrologer, and you can click, book now in my profile as well. I'll be talking about this more this week on my Instagram, and I thank you one and all for tuning in, and I wish you big success in your self-expression this week. And many blessings to you. Gratitude to all. Thank you for listening.